Okay, good morning. Welcome everyone to our Doing Business with Jamaica webinar. My name is Marilyn Douglas Jones. I'm one of the co-hosts with the Texas Caribbean Chamber of Commerce. Today, we will be talking about specifically, in the past we've done Doing Business with the Caribbean with multiple panelists from different islands and countries. Today, we are focused on Jamaica and the options that are immediately available for small and medium-sized businesses to do business directly with Jamaica. Okay. We have some ground rules today. The webinar is being recorded. All video and audio have been turned off for participants. If you have questions, please type the questions in the chat question box below. Your questions will be answered by one of the panelists live or responded to in the chat. No direct verbal questions are accepted at this time. So please direct your questions to the chat. Okay. And our agenda today, I'm your co-host, Marilyn Douglas Jones, as said before. I am the founding president of the Texas Caribbean Chamber of Commerce, Trade and Industry. I'd like to take this time to welcome the Honorable Mr. R. Oliver Mayer, the Consul General of Jamaica, stationed in Miami and representing the Southern United States. I will have Miss Dr. Nicole Bent, if she's in, to introduce Mr. Fullerton, and then I will introduce Mr. Robinson, and Miss Nicole Bent will introduce me fully, and then we'll have our closing remarks by Mr. Nicholas Sutherland. Okay. Is CG Mayor here already? Here he is. Okay. All right. The Honorable Mr. Roderick Oliver Mayer has spent some 20 years in Jamaica's private sector, working in the travel, tourism, entertainment, agro-processing, and real estate industries. He was appointed Consul General of Jamaica in Miami in 2018, with consular responsibility, as I mentioned, for Florida and 12 other southern states, along with consular jurisdiction for the Bahamas and Cayman Islands. Mr. Mayor, is Dr. Bent in?
Yes.
Yeah, she is.
Okay, and have her to introduce Mr. Fullerton.
All right. Mr. Kalfani Omari Fullerton, Esquire, brings over 36 years of experience in handling complex immigration, business, and commercial litigation matters. A Texas resident for more than 4 decades, Mr. Fullerton is the managing attorney at Fullerton Law Firm and proudly serves as the Honorary Consul of Jamaica in Houston, Texas. Mr. Fullerton?
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Jones, for that kind introduction. And also first, before I speak, I would like to acknowledge Professor Marilyn Jones, Dr. Bent. Dr. Bent is the president for the Jamaica Foundation of Houston, and she has been president, and she's always has been doing an excellent job in our community and also within the southern region. And also we have, Professor Marilyn Jones. She's, she has headed quite a few organizations. She's a stalwart in the community in Houston, Texas, and she heads the chamber. And my focus, as an honorary consul, what I do, I deal with a lot of community organization and also business. Jamaica, I want to let everyone know that Jamaica is open for business. Jamaica is a great place to do business and also to live, despite Hurricane Melissa. So we have one of the top stock market in the world, not just in the Caribbean, in the world in terms of Jamaica, and we have major companies that do business in Jamaica, like Intel. Obviously, we have our companies in Jamaica too that does business all over the world, like Grace Kennedy, you have Seprod, you name it. And I think I just want to welcome JAMPRO, also Mr. Sutherland, Mr. Robinson, and for putting on this seminar, because we do need investment. Jamaica is open for investment, and I believe that the audience will hear a lot and get a lot of insightful information about doing business in Jamaica. So with that, thank you.
Kind of difficult to go back and forth right now.
Thank you very much. Absolutely. So my name is Conrad Robinson. I am manager at JAMPRO with responsibility for global digital services, and I will be doing the Jamaica presentation this morning.
All right. Nicole, I think I'm next.
Yes. All right. Introducing Dr. Marilyn Jones. She is a retired college professor and currently works as a business consultant. She also serves as the founding president of the Texas Caribbean Chamber of Commerce, Trade, and Industry, representing members statewide and beyond. Dr. Jones?
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome.
Thank you. Good. Well, morning or afternoon to everyone on the call. Yes, had some technical difficulties, but just want to say how proud I am of this initiative, and I'm going to be very brief. The time to do business with Jamaica is now. All the macro indicators are pointing in a very positive direction for the country, and you will hear more about it in the presentation. I don't want to steal a thunder from anyone, but I do believe that it makes a lot of business sense to look at the various options that will be presented today. And what I encourage individuals to do is not only hear about the opportunities, but be willing to take action and make an investment in Jamaica today. So again, thank you everybody for joining this webinar. Thank you to JAMPRO for the ongoing partnership, and to everybody who took the time to be here. We appreciate your time and the investing your time with us today, and I'm sure it will be time well spent. So feel free to have your notebook, your a pen, take notes, but be willing to take action. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And now we'll have Mr. Nicholas Sutherland introduce himself briefly, beyond the fact that he's a manager for the new market development for JAMPRO. Welcome, Mr. Sutherland.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me here. My name is Nicholas Sutherland. I am the manager for new market development for JAMPRO. Essentially, my roles entails non-traditional markets. I'm mainly focused on Latin America and Asia, but I also have the privilege of managing the Economic Diplomacy Program, which is a joint venture between the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade and JAMPRO, which incorporates collaborating with our honorary consuls and our diplomatic missions and our consulates overseas to see how we can generate more investment and trade opportunities for Jamaica. It has been a very, very dynamic program, which we've been pursuing for the past 4 years. We've worked very closely with the Consul General in Florida, Mr. Oliver Mayer, and we've been working with the embassy in Washington and various honorary consuls across the United States, Texas, Chicago, New York, and we're looking forward to having some very dynamic conversations today and also inviting questions from the various persons who will be attending this webinar. Thank you.
As I begin this presentation, I just want to take the time to thank the Texas Caribbean Chamber of Commerce, Trade and Industry for partnering with us here at JAMPRO to do this presentation, doing business with Jamaica. Also want to greet all of our distinguished panelists and the ladies and gentlemen who have joined us for this morning's webinar. As was mentioned earlier, my name is Conrad Robinson, and I'm manager at JAMPRO with responsibility for global digital services. But today, my presentation will look at different sectors for which we are seeking investment in Jamaica. So a little bit about JAMPRO, what our vision is. Our vision is to be a world-class business enabler and promotion agency, making Jamaica the premier destination to do business. And of course, our mission is to drive Jamaica's economic development through growth in export, investment, and local linkages. Our purpose is to build relationships and realize business opportunity. Hence why we are having this webinar this morning in partnership with the Texas Caribbean Chamber of Commerce. Our values are IRI, integrity, respect, innovation, and excellence. JAMPRO services include, but not limited to, project and opportunity packaging, business approvals facilitation, business facilitation meetings, business matchmaking, market intelligence sharing, and participation in signature programs, market penetration support, business advocacy, business advisory service. We host inward missions. We do host the film registration and bond waiver processing, buyer recruitment, and site selection facilitation. The focus sectors for JAMPRO are these: priority sectors, agribusiness, logistics, global digital services, tourism. The secondary sectors are film, non-food manufacturing, mining, and aggregates. Some quick facts about Jamaica for those of you who may not readily have this information available. But we have 0 foreign exchange controls, 0 restrictions on foreign ownership, repatriation of profits. We have a BB- Fitch rating and a BB S&P rating, excellent sea and air connectivity, #1 Caribbean country for doing business, political and social stability. We have fast, fixed broadband, an educated and talented labor pool, the largest English-speaking Caribbean country, and of course, foreigners can own land and property in Jamaica. Jamaica's value proposition are these: a stable, consistent, business-focused government, the government's commitment and support, political stability, incentives, trade agreements, infrastructure development. What are some of the incentives that you would receive as an investor in Jamaica? You have fiscal incentives, which include employment tax credit, asset tax relief, and of course, under our special economic zone, there is a 12.5% corporate income tax relief incentive. The effective tax rate when all benefits under the SEZ Act are factored in could decrease to as low as 7.5%. We have the productive input relief, PIR, no import duties, no duties on raw material and inputs, no additional stamp duties. Other incentives are associated with our junior stock exchange. And of course, we have our large projects and pioneering industries incentives. We have a high capacity telecoms infrastructure, tier 2 certified data center capacity, fiber and subsea cable connectivity to global hubs, low latency island-wide network coverage. So if you were to be doing business with Jamaica, you can say that you would be well connected. We have strong sea and air connectivity, 3.2 million TEUs annually, 20-foot equivalent containers annually arriving in Jamaica, 100 plus global ports including Houston, 25 international shipping lines, 14,000 TEU vessel capacity, a 6 to 7 day port-to-port turnaround time, almost daily direct flights into Jamaica, Montego Bay, Jamaica to Dallas, Fort Worth, direct connectivity, Montego Bay to Houston, direct connectivity, American Airlines, United Airlines, Southwest Airlines fly into Montego Bay from those cities that I just mentioned, and a 3.5 hours average flight time. The Jamaican Film Commission. This commission was established in 1984, and it markets Jamaica as a premier filming location. It promotes business opportunities within the screen-based creative industries and provide production advisory and facilitation services, liaises with government agencies and private sector partners to support international production, advocates for industry development, and assists with permits and approvals. So if it is that you want to do anything in that space, contact JAMPRO and we will help to facilitate your ambition in the creative industries. There are investment and collaboration opportunities in the film or the creative industries, which include studio infrastructure development, example, soundstage, post-production and digital editing facilities, animation and VFX outsourcing, existing co-production partnership with Britain, and distribution of content to global streaming platforms. Some of the more notable productions coming out of Jamaica would be Paramount's Bob Marley One Love movie in 2024, HBO's Get Millie Black 2024, Hulu Disney Black Cake 2023, BBC Netflix music drama series Champion 2023, and of course the 25th James Bond movie No Time to Die 2021. Jamaica is your partner for creative collaboration and global content production. You get duty concession on temporarily imported production equipment. You would have cost-effective film production equipment rental, streamlined permitting through the Jamaica Film Commission, compact geography reduces travel and logistic costs, English-speaking workforce, and of course, competitive crew and location rates relative to North America. Logistics. And each time I do a presentation around logistics, I often invite participants to take a look at the global map to see where Jamaica is situated. Jamaica is strategically located between North and South America, as well as Central America. So logistically, we are the sweet spot within the region. The investment opportunities in logistics involve warehousing and regional distribution centers, cargo consolidation and regional transshipment services, ship repair and maritime services expansion, order fulfillment hubs, third-party logistics and supply chain services, light assembly and value-added logistics, packaging, labeling, and final mile preparation. These are some of the global brands that are operating in Jamaica from a logistic perspective. Amazon, Medimpet, Kingston Wharves Limited, DHL, Hagpag Lloyd, CGM, Zim, UPS, and FedEx. Global digital services. Investment opportunities in the GDS space includes, but not limited to, business process outsourcing. This is where customer service, technical support, finance, and human resources are offered from a nearshore destination like Jamaica. Knowledge process outsourcing, higher value services, finance and accounting, marketing, and shared services. Information technology outsourcing, mobile and web development services, digital commerce, fintech services. Montego Bay is the #1 city in the Caribbean for BPO value destinations in 2024, according to Nearshore America. These are some of the global brands that are operating from Jamaica: HGS, ITEL, Contacts 360, Sagility, Sutherland Global, IBEX, Alorica, Amazon.com, Humana, KPMG, AT&T, Target, Signal, Scotiabank, 1-800-Flowers, and Lyft. Tourism and linkages. Investment opportunities in this space include, but again, not limited to, high-end boutique hotels, wellness hotels and spas, hospital hotels. Accommodation types include hotels new build, hotels refurbish, attractions, mixed-use development, ocean view, beachfront. Targeted areas include St. Thomas and Portland. These two parishes provides greenfield opportunities for investment within the tourism and linkages sector. Jamaica has a long-standing history with tourism, and we have been recognized globally for this. Some of the growing recognition that we have received as a country: TripAdvisor Traveler's Choice 2025, 13th best honeymoon destination in the world. TripAdvisor Traveler's Choice 2025, number 11 best culinary destination in the world. World Traveler Awards 2025, Tourism Assets, leading Caribbean tourist attraction, Rose Hall Great House. And World Traveler Awards 2025, Tourism Assets, leading Caribbean meetings and conference center, the Montego Bay Convention Center. These are some of the global brands that are currently operating in Jamaica: Catalonia, Palace Resort, Wyndham, Charisma, Royalton, Bahia Principe, Sandals, Secret Resorts, Palladium, Rock, Marriott, Hilton, Hard Rock Hotel, Couples Resort, Half Moon, Iberia Star, Princess, Playa, Rio, Oceans, and Grand Excelsior Hotels. Mining, limestone, and aggregates. Jamaica is your partner for nearshoring and supply chain resilience. Jamaica's extractive export industry is valued at around 6 billion Jamaican dollars. And Texas leads the US in commercial construction spending, reaching about 90 billion annually. And why this is important is because some of that construction aggregate can be had from Jamaica, which is a nearshore opportunity for businesses in Texas. Jamaica adds security to regional supply chain for bulk material already in demand. Our strategic location between the Panama Canal and the US Gulf Coast enables efficient access to Houston. We offer joint ventures and partnership in quarrying, processing, and value-added production. Sand, gravel, and crushed limestone. Uses of sand, gravel, and crushed limestone for road and highway construction, bridges and infrastructure projects, concrete and asphalt production, rail ballast production, coastal protection, and port development. Cement, lime, and calcium carbonate value-added products. Uses for construction and infrastructure, steel and metal production, fertilizer, as well as water and wastewater treatment. These are some of the global brands that are operating in Jamaica in that space. Caribbean Cement, Cemex, Dyna, Greymont, Jamaica Aggregates, Jamalco, Gisco, Lidford, and of course, Windalco. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my presentation for this morning. Thank you so very much. And we will be here. Our resource panel is available to answer your questions. And as was indicated by our co-host this morning, please type your questions in the chat and we will respond accordingly. Thank you very much for your time, ladies and gentlemen.
Outstanding. All right. Continuing with our agenda, we will now hear from Nicole, are you still there?
Yes, I am. Hi, thank you. Good morning, everyone. I hope we were all pretty motivated by Conrad's outstanding presentation. Jamaica continues to be a very welcoming, stable investment destination with a very supportive business ecosystem. We have very compelling investor incentives and protections, which are one of the handful of characteristics that made Jamaica a prime destination for foreign direct investment in various sectors, especially things like the hotel business, not only large hotels, but boutique, Airbnb-oriented accommodations, the BPO sector, which has incorporated, many types of services, including digital services, finance and accounting, back office, HR, and debt collection. We have become the BPO capital of the Caribbean. And I think you'll find if you explore more opportunities in Jamaica through our website, through our various sectors, and just looking at the news coming out of Jamaica about business, not only locally, but foreign investment, you'll see why we have become one of the best addresses for success in this hemisphere. Thank you very much for all coming on, and thank you so much for the support of the Texas Caribbean Chamber of Commerce. It really has been a real privilege to have been invited to participate in this event.
And thank you all. Thank you, CG Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Fullerton. Thank you, Dr. Nicole Bent of the Jamaica Foundation, and all the participating panelists as agents of JAMPRO. We are now ready for questions. But earlier, before we started the presentation, someone had already asked how to contact JAMPRO. And so that was the last official slide already. Hopefully you took a screenshot of that. We could always post that again so that people know how to contact us away from this seminar. But please put your questions in the chat if you have any, would like details on any of the opportunities presented. They are very, very popular enough for many people to take advantage of the offerings and others. Are there any questions in the chat? We'll head to the moderators of the chat. Okay. So we also promoted it as a lunch and learn. People are thinking, and then some are lunching. Okay. I would like to go back to the film component with the Jamaica Film Commission. That is really, really popular right now. Everybody's an influencer of some sort or a full-fledged filmmaker. The facilities, again, that are offered, could that be repeated? that slide for the films. And I know YouTube is just buzzing. Everybody wants to connect with Jamaica. So what do we have? We can go back to the film.
Sure. I will again share my screen.
Awesome.
Thank
And
you.
Hi, I might be able to answer the first one.
Yeah, Q&A. Yes?
Yes, hi. Is there any opportunities for grants to help with land purchase? No, at this time, no. What the government does have are various public lands, especially those oriented toward agriculture, which are available for lease and rent at very competitive rates. And some of these properties across the island are located near or in agroparks. Some of them are established agroparks and some of them are adjacent to. But there is a wide range of properties across the island, which the government has been looking to re-energize in terms of farming opportunities for going concerns.
Okay. There is an anonymous attendee asking about shipping improvements from a digitization perspective.
Yes, Jamaica adopted the Asakuda global port system, I'd say maybe about 12 years ago. So we're operating at a world standard in terms of digitization. One of the operators of the Port of Kingston is CMA CGM, which is one of the largest shipping companies in the world. They do have a 30-year lease on operations along with Kingston Wharf, which is right adjacent. Now, what this means is you have one of the top 5 shipping and logistic companies in the world operating part of the Port of Kingston and have made it one of their smaller Caribbean hubs. So you're getting world-class optimization of port efficiency when it comes to transshipment and logistics.
Wonderful. There's an interest in cannabis now that that's sort of gotten respectability as a medical product. What are the opportunities in cannabis?
Okay, fantastic. Thank you for asking that question. This is not one of my strong knowledge segments, but for example, there are companies here who are doing cannabis for export to various countries. You also have medical marijuana dispensaries. So that through the Cannabis Licensing Association, most of the different segments of the cannabis business does require 51% ownership by a Jamaican national. It's the only sector in Jamaica where Jamaica's different business environments, you do not have to be a Jamaican to have full ownership. This is the one asterisk, the one exception to that is this particular industry. Now, as I mentioned before, 51% must be owned by a Jamaican national. That does not mean you have to reside in Jamaica. You merely must be a Jamaican citizen.
Awesome. That's great news. And then, of course, the connectivity. Can you speak to Jamaica's data privacy policy? How robust is that? Question from Lerone S.
I'm not able to give a fulsome response at this time. We have adopted data protection norms, which are compliant with the kind of norms one would expect out of Europe and the United States, particularly Europe. Those have been adopted because we have over 53 international BPO companies operating here. As Conrad would have mentioned, we have companies like Alorica and Teleperformance, which are European companies. And these companies have to be compliant in all of their jurisdictions with European Union data privacy policies. So we do have a Data Protection Act, which came into effect about 2.5 years ago. So all companies in Jamaica that hold any kind of data are required to be compliant. So we've really brought our ecosystem up to speed. The exact details can be provided by us. You can send an email with all of the information and links to the Data Protection Act about Jamaica. In fact, let me see if before we finish, I can find a link to it and put it in the chat.
Awesome. And this was meant to be an introductory overview, which still had quite a bit of detail, so people can then contact the chamber or JAMPRO directly for access to more information. And of course, there's a lot on the web through AI and Google, and then you can contact specific people directly. As a Jamaican myself living in the United States, I've found it quite easy to broker these opportunities, some of them for now and all of them hopefully in the future. So are there any more questions? And there's a JAMPRO representative, of course, our faithful Christina Tucker, and her information is 929-671-1766 out of New York. And her email is ctucker@dobusinessjamaica.com. Right. As everybody knows, we've had some serious damage in Hurricane Melissa, but Jamaica is well on its way back, and that's what spurred the chamber to choose Jamaica as the first quarters doing business in the Caribbean. We look forward to engaging more people in making this happen. And these opportunities that were mentioned today are so simple and direct that we will spread the word and maybe even have some follow-ups or a road trip on the web to make sure this information gets out as much as possible. Miss Cynthia says, we do skincare and are now growing castor oil and moringa oil for luxury skincare. Her land is out of Cockpit Country. She wants to know what resources do we have that could be used to make a more competitive market. I'm sure she means besides promoting it herself. Are there resources we can tap into to help us mass produce? For example, equipment, grants for workers, etc., and mentors.
Okay.
Are there any, for example, associations they could join to get that mentorship? So
I'm not familiar with any at this point, but I think Christina might be able to reach out to the Ministry of Agriculture to find out what kind of programs. I know we have several programs going on in Western Jamaica, in the areas that had the most amount of destruction and trying to get farmers back up on their feet. The Cockpit Country is not part of that, but again, there may be wider programs that the Ministry of Agriculture would be able to talk more about. So I'm going to ask Christine if she can follow up with that question and see what we can find out from our colleagues over at the Ministry of Agriculture.
and for example, if you have land in Jamaica and you can research the products that are used in skincare, you can then partner with someone who already produces skincare to find out what should be planted or what do you have going wild that can be managed better to make this a more lucrative, a more Jamaica-wide opportunity, because our soil is so healthy, right? Wherever you see red land, it's not just bauxite, it's moringa, for example.
Yes, exactly. I'd also like to mention that what we've been seeing recently in the past couple of years coming out of Latin America is more and more investors in Latin America have been growing crops, Asian crops. And we've also seen a few American companies who have invested in places like the Dominican Republic and Costa Rica, growing things like dragon fruit. And there's a couple of other very popular Southeast Asian and South Asian fruits. Now, I mention that because the opportunity for many investors is not only just to come to Jamaica to grow more Jamaican products. Dragon fruit has become a big product in the United States. It's become a major high margin product. There are now several farms across the Dominican Republic and Costa Rica who are doing this. In fact, one Trinidadian businessman who I'm familiar with has started a massive farm, massive for Trinidad, doing dragon fruit exports to the United States. So I encourage Jamaican investors in agribusiness that they should look at what are the high margin, high quality fruits and vegetables that they can grow in Jamaica and sell to places like Kroger's, Whole Foods, Publix, and other supermarkets like that, because it expands your range and also does have some risk deferment in terms of growing things like even strawberries, raspberries. I know we love our Caribbean avocados, but Hass avocados are 97% of the US market. We can grow a range of items here. And it's something we've seen a growing trend, not only with Latin American big farming conglomerates, but also with American companies who, instead of shipping fruits and vegetables from Thailand, Malaysia, and Cambodia and Vietnam, they're now setting up operations in Costa Rica to grow those products there, so they shorten their supply chain. So I encourage us to look beyond what is the traditional Caribbean fruits and see what we can grow here, which can be sold into Whole Foods as a high margin, that's the key word, high margin product.
Yes, and I know Jamaicans love our lychee as well. So yeah, the Asian supplies, everything in Jamaica and Africa seems to be called superfoods now. And that means our soil can handle a lot of that exotic type fruit. Ricardo Durant says that, was it Cynthia could join the Jamaica Castor Oil Industry Association. And so there are some mentoring and networking groups for that, different things. There's also the productive input relief that can be accessed when registering with the Ministry of Industry, Investment, and Commerce. So there are quite a few, and Ms. Tucker, our JAMPRO connection, says there are incentives that were mentioned generally. So if you contact her, she can tailor them and others to your objective. Rochelle says there is also the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association we can look into. And then someone asked, what are your thoughts about attribution or IP rights for media content generated by AI? I know Jamaica was at the forefront of the global advocacy for copyright, either by being a major copy infraction persons or actually having Jamaican branded by other people. So what are the thoughts on attribution rights for media content generated by AI? And as a professor myself, we talk about plagiarism, right? So can anybody speak to the attribution rights, IP rights in relationship to AI?
Hi, the Jamaica Intellectual Property Office, JAIPRO, would be the best institution to speak about that. I'm sure that's something that they've been looking at steadily because as they deal with rules of origin and intellectual property. I think that's somebody you can reach out to, or you can reach out to Christina and we can connect with the appropriate person who can give you a response, because that's still a new field for us.
All right. And Cynthia Jatonga says, a challenge is paying workers as soon as you produce. Moringa and castor oil are projected to be worth $18 billion by 2030, and Jamaica has the best castor oil, but only produces about 1% of it. And the question then is from the government, and then she says the highest quality we can grow now is moringa. We just need the help in grants, not so much loans. How can we get structure from the government? And I'm looking also at, on the American side, there are more grants on the American side than on the Jamaican side. So as an American entrepreneur, you might be able to get grants that can be used to advance your business in Jamaica. Does anybody else want to speak to that? Because this is how to do business in Jamaica from our end, right? So there are investment and grant opportunities on the American side that could work in collaboration or alignment with the Jamaican products. Anybody want to
Right.
speak?
So, in terms of, as I mentioned before, we've been really trying to give a lot of support to our farmers in the western part of Jamaica in terms of helping them recover. The Ministry of Agriculture may have opportunities for land grants and things like seeds and all that, but in terms of financing, because of the way our ministry is set up and the economy is set up, it's still, I know it's challenging for some of the smaller farmers, but we don't have those type of financing projects in place. I don't think Jamaica ever really has, and not many Caribbean islands do. So although I know it's quite challenging, the government has been doing its best in terms of training for small farmers in different areas prior to Melissa, helping to provide subsidized seeds and specialized seeds and stuff, and some mentoring. But financing is still something that we have kind of left to the private sector to develop through the banking system. However, coming out of Melissa and these new programs, there might be some things which are embryonic at this point in time with the Ministry of Agriculture. But again, those efforts have been focused where destruction has been the most catastrophic in terms of our farmers, not only for their operations, but for their welfare and housing. So they might want to explore opportunities from the American side of the fence.
And that's what the chamber would help people to do. I think this answers quite a few of the parts of Brandon's input into the chat. And he says he's also a Jamaican, we'll call, right? A lot of Americans are claiming their Jamaican heritage. Mr. Fullerton, how far back can we go? Can an American go to claim Jamaican heritage?
Okay, that's a very interesting question. You can go all the way back to infinity. Basically, as long as you can show, right, your descendant. I've had Cubans come in my office and they have their citizenship. They're from their great grandparents. So because a lot of Jamaican went to Panama and Cuba. And so as long as you can show, and Jamaica, we keep very accurate records of birth records. So as long as you can get your grandparents, great grandparents, or parents birth record, it's simple. It's just a one-page citizenship by descent form. So, and it's very simple. You need your ID and proof of your that you're a descendant of that person, and yeah.
And I noticed in social media, a lot of Jamaicans are forming groups for DNA tests and family trees. So
Yeah.
it's getting easier all the time. Some people even have property there that their parents may have left and they never exploited it before and can now have that also as proof of identity along with that specific birth certificate of that person born in Jamaica. So it's getting a whole lot easier. The government is making it very easy. And so do the DNA test and you could be claiming lots of places. Right.
Yeah.
I heard someone.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Nick, I think you are muted.
Fullerton,
Yes.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
No, I'm finished. Basically, what I'm saying, no, it's just a simple process. What you would do is that you go to PICA, gov.jm, and you go there, you look under the citizenship section, forms, and you have citizenship by descent. Obviously, you can get citizenship also by virtue of being married to a Jamaican.
Thank you.
I want to also mention that in terms of our investment ecosystem, and this is for Caribbean nationals who may not be Jamaicans who are participating in this event. Jamaica, as Conrad mentioned, allows full foreign ownership of companies, property by non-nationals. So a non-Jamaican, whether it be a Trinidadian, a Bayesian, or a German person, can buy unlimited amounts of land anywhere in Jamaica. Now, that is something which has made us a very dynamic investment destination in certain countries like Mexico. There are certain areas along the border where you can't, foreigners can't own land or can't have a majority share. I believe it in the Bahamas also, foreigners cannot buy greenfield beachfront property. They can lease it, I think, for 80 years, 90 years in the case of some of the hotel companies. In Jamaica, you can buy unrestricted amount of land anywhere you want as long as you've got the money to do so. Also, companies which are owned and founded by non-national Jamaicans, once they incorporate in Jamaica, they are a Jamaican company. So if you have people from several Caribbean islands and a couple of Europeans form a company, that company is entitled to the same protections and rights as any Jamaican company. They're essentially a Jamaican company. What we've done is, and it's very important for our reputation, referential credibility across the world, is have a very level playing field for all companies incorporated in Jamaica, operating in Jamaica. So I know in certain other countries they do have some, I believe in Africa, they do have some preferential treatments for nationals who are reinvesting back into the country. The Jamaican government, and especially in this hemisphere, we decide not to do that. We make sure that Jamaica is the best place for doing business, no matter what country you're originally from. And those rights and protections has given a lot of confidence, not only for companies who have come to Jamaica to invest, but they've what I call landed and expanded. You have a Rio, which started off with one hotel. Now they have 5 in Jamaica. You have a Sutherland Global, who started off in Jamaica with 400 people, and now they're at 5,000. That kind of confidence and equality in front of the law has made us a very, very attractive investment destination.
Thank you. And Mr. Durant says, think about or take a look at business grants provided by the Development Bank of Jamaica, DBJ, and there's a link in the Q&A chat for that. Let's see, have I missed anyone that asked a question? 3PL services, final mile delivery. Anyone want to address that? Specific opportunities around 3PL services and final mile delivery.
Yes, in terms of offering those services from Jamaica, there are still properties available for lease and for rent near the Port of Kingston. Specifically, the Port Authority of Jamaica has, I think, about 60 acres of land still available for greenfield for putting up warehousing and logistics operations. So one could build out this kind of warehousing and rent it to other people, and then you would get certain fiscal incentives if it qualifies for a special economic zone legislation. You get, as a developer, you get tax-free rental. You have a minimum of investments you have to do into that space. As an operator, you obviously also fall into certain fiscal incentives offered under the Special Economic Zone Authority Act. So there are those facilities. One of the things that makes Jamaica attractive for that is that as of last year, 2025, the Port of Kingston still has the highest amount of port calls in the Caribbean. So we are still the logistics, top logistical location in the Caribbean. I believe, and don't quote me specifically, I believe we got, I think it's 1,800 ship calls
All right. I think you already answered this. Someone was asking about gatekeeping and can the government make sure it's Jamaicans first generation only? We are out of many one and many may come, right?
Yeah,
So the question is, will the government favor true Jamaicans when it comes to loans and grants?
well, favoring loans and grants would be specifically related to Jamaican citizens. So if your parents are Jamaican and you have an American passport and you're not a Jamaican citizen, then you would not be eligible for grants. Also bear in mind that grants and loans were designed for people who are resident here. It was designed for the Jamaican taxpayer. It was designed for the Jamaican who's living in Jamaica, who might not have enough resources to start a business, especially with something like the Development Bank of Jamaica. We have to be cognizant of the government's obligation, not only to the diaspora, but to be very honest with you, primarily to the Jamaicans who live here, who pay their taxes, who are on our streets and roads every day, who are trying to make way for their families in this island. So I would tell you that there would be no favor given to Jamaicans who are coming in who are of Jamaican descent if they're not Jamaican taxpayers, if they're not resident in Jamaica. We also have to be compliant with World Trade Organization regulations regarding that. Like I said, we have to make sure that we are still seen by international investors as a very level playing field. And I think we could understand that if living in the States, if you had people who are American descent but not American coming in and collecting Social Security or trying to get benefits when they have not lived there for most of their lives, it would cause quite a political upheaval among the local population.
Absolutely. Maybe Mr. Fullerton can answer. If someone goes to Jamaica, how long do they have to be residing there legally to become an official resident or a citizen if they've invested?
That question is left to a Jamaican lawyer. I'm a Texas U.S. immigration lawyer, so normally the person should consult a lawyer for that one. I can't answer in terms of the general residency requirement for that.
Okay. Yeah, that was a trick question to let them know that you're one of the top immigration lawyers in the United States.
Yeah, but they have, their incentive. Obviously, like when you own a business, you could always get your worker there. So what they will do, you get a letter. So you own a business, you can go there and work. So normally the procedure though is this: you get a letter from the company saying that you work there. Then you go to any one of the honorary consul or the consul general office, you get a stamp, and then you get a work permit. You have to start off with a work permit, and you go to the Department of Secretary of Labor, Ministry of Labor. You go there, and they will sign off on it, and you pay a fee. And then there are certain amount of years you have to be there to become a resident.
Okay.
And one of the things that say, you're Jamaican and also you are a U.S. citizen. They have what we call permanent landing, right? So you don't necessarily need a Jamaican passport. You go to the passport office, you pay a fee, 100 US, and they'll give you a stamp in your passport. So anytime you go to Jamaica, you could stay there as long as you want. But if you go in just with your American passport, they're going to give you a certain amount of time to leave. But of course, if you're Jamaican born, they can't really deport you. Yeah.
Okay, well, seeing no new questions, we can wrap this up by saying that we thank all the panelists, we thank all the attendees. We had some very good information for the average small business entrepreneur, medium-sized opportunities to invest in Jamaica. And we also had some insight into what citizenship as a Jamaican means from descent. And we look forward to taking this on the road in the future. Thank you, panelists. Thank you, JAMPRO. Thank you, Dr. Nicole Bent Jones of the Jamaica Foundation of Houston. And we look forward to working with everyone in the future. I hope this information was good. Give us a review on Facebook. We are available through Facebook, Instagram, and all the other, LinkedIn, etc. Okay. Do we have any closing remarks from everyone other
I'm
than
going to jump
myself?
in before Conrad, my colleague, gives his closing remarks in his Morgan Freeman voice.
Okay.
Thank you all for giving us the opportunity to speak to you today, not only to the Jamaicans who are resident in Texas, to the wider Caribbean community. We are after all one Caribbean people. And I just want to mention we've seen a whole lot of Trinidad investment in Jamaica in the past 7 years. It's been tremendous. The Trinidadians have really discovered Jamaica in everything from retail to manufacturing to small boutique hotels. So we're very happy about that because it brings us all close together. And we do hope we'll have more interest from our Caribbean brothers and sisters in Texas. Thank you all for allowing me to be here. I'm going to hand over to Conrad now.
No, thank you very much, Nick. I think you have said it best for all of us. All I have to add to that is thank you very much for joining us this morning. And we trust that you find the information useful. Please feel free to reach out to us here at JAMPRO, and we'll help walk you through making your investment a success here in Jamaica.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, Mr. Robinson, thank you for that was an excellent presentation. Thank you. And thank you, Professor Jones, for co-hosting the event. Excellent.
Thank you. Thank you, JAMPRO. Thank you, Jamaica Foundation. Be safe until next time.